What's up, everyone? You're listening to the RAS Project. My name is Ivan Temelkov, and I'm your host. On this podcast, we discuss entrepreneurship, personal development, family, tech, and marketing. Why should you listen to this podcast? This podcast is for those of you who are looking for life-changing advice and ways to thrive digitally with your business. As always, all content is 100% real, raw, and unfiltered. Before I jump into the topic I want to talk about on the podcast, I want to mention that this is a very special edition of the RAS Project. It's streaming live on Facebook right now as we are recording. It's also available on YouTube tomorrow. It's going to be available on my business page, and you can find it on every single major podcasting outlet out there, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeart Radio. Coronavirus. It's time to let the cat out of the bag. Over the last couple of weeks or so, I've stood by on the sidelines observing everything that is happening regarding the coronavirus. I was very skeptical at first on whether or not I wanted to dedicate any time towards a discussion around a declared global pandemic. Trust me when I say this, that I hesitated quite a bit. Then I realized that by not taking any action, I was simply doing the same exact thing that everyone else is doing. That is not who I am or who I aspire to be. So the primary purpose of this episode is to discuss the truth, the controversy, and opinions regarding coronavirus. As you may have noticed, this global pandemic is affecting every single aspect of life and business. Businesses near and far are forced to alter their operations to accommodate for this global pandemic. Leaving it without a discussion would simply be an act of negligence. There are two different types of people on the internet and social media right now as it pertains to coronavirus. There's the bashers and there's the socials. Sorry, I couldn't come up with a more clever name. Let me explain. The bashers are the people who are more or less degrading the entire coronavirus pandemic. These are the people who are saying that coronavirus is nothing more than a media frenzy. They claim that it has been elevated for purposes of personal gain and unnecessary media exposure. Some will even go as far as saying that it's simply a stunt to create a false recession. Others think that it's intended to alter the upcoming presidential election. I don't know. If that was the case, then why are we seeing such evasive actions being taken from a preventative standpoint to eliminate the spread of this outbreak? I'll share more of my thoughts on this later on. The socials are the people who are literally fueling the entire coronavirus by seeking to capitalize on it from an impression standpoint. These are the people who are absolutely fucking clueless about what is going on, but the only thing they're concerned with is generating unnecessary controversy around the pandemic. One of the main reasons why I refrained from participating in the coronavirus outbreak until now is because I wanted to acquire enough information about its current status. I refrained from making any kind of statements simply because there wasn't enough factual information to support my arguments. It's just not who I am. That's just it, though. There's a lot of people on social media who are sharing information about the coronavirus without any factual information. Now, here's where things are going to get real. Here's the reality. Schools are closing down. Grocery stores are being emptied out. People are panicking. People have died. There are well over 125,000 cases worldwide reported regarding coronavirus. The U.S. is temporarily closed for 30 days in terms of travel. Here's the reality of things. Whether you think that coronavirus is fake or not, it's a global problem. Do you seriously think that over 20 plus European countries want to deal with this shit? Coronavirus is a real problem. We need to come together as a society and help each other out. We all need each other to coexist. We do. as much as you can't possibly comprehend that. Let's stop the bickering. Enough of the ridiculous fucking jokes. Let's take some action, raise awareness, educate people on what is really going on. After all, the coronavirus affects everyone. Last but not least, some of you know that I'm a father and husband. The safety of my family is my number one priority. You don't think that I'm scared shitless, especially since my daughter had pink eye recently and my son ran a fever for almost 5 days. The coincidence of coronavirus and my kids being sick is definitely alarming, not to mention the fact that their daycare is a germ fest. It's inevitable. Oh, and by the way, they are probably on the verge of closing down, which means that I will probably be totally fucked. And that's the reality of what's happening with coronavirus right now, whether you think it's real or it's fake. So here's my conclusion. The coronavirus is real. It's affecting everyone. The people who will suffer the most are the elderly with weak immune systems. Anyone with a weak immune system, for that matter. The rest of us who don't fall in that category are simply caught in the crossfire of it all. But here's a few things that those of you that do not have a weak immune system, I truly hope you take into consideration. There's no need to panic. There's no need for chaos. There's no need for stupidity. Please wash your hands and practice good hygiene. 95% of Americans do not wash their hands. What the fuck, America? The reason this is becoming a bigger problem is because you are not practicing good hygiene. And worst of it all is people are flocking to grocery stores and buying out toilet paper, bleach, hand sanitizer, and whatnot like it's the fucking apocalypse. Why? Is because you're contributing to the problem. At the end of the day, we all need each other to coexist. Please understand that. So everything that we do is in the best interest, not only for you, but for everyone else and everyone around you, including your loved ones and the people you care for. Look, guys and gals, I have one favor to ask from you. If you feel that I've given you some value in this podcast, some perspective, helped you make a change in your personal life or business, I would greatly appreciate it if you share this podcast with someone else. I'm not selling you anything or forcing you to buy shit you don't want. I am simply asking you to share this podcast with other entrepreneurs or anyone who wants to make a change in their life and business. If you enjoyed the podcast and you keep coming back, it would also mean the world to me if you shared a review on iTunes, on Google Play. Will help others, other like-minded folks, know about the nature of content and value that I share on this podcast and give them a reason to listen. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, please email me at ivan@razorsharpdigital.com, or you can also message me on Messenger, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn.